Hey, it's Meatball.
And Mark.
And this is the Rocker Morning Show on demand from 107.7 RKR.
Doug, you're with Mark and Meatball.
Mark, Meatball, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
What's happening, Doug? How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Living the dream in Kalamazoo, Michigan, man.
That is a dream to live there. It's one of the great parts of the country, Michigan, outside of Detroit. Come on. Let's go Lions.
There you go. I like the attitude leading into the preseason, man. It feels good. It feels good.
They're going to do good this year.
What's that?
They're going to do good this year.
Yeah, I'm thinking so, too.
That's the hope for sure. Well, former member of Whitesnake and Dio, current guitarist for Dead Daisies, who have a new album coming out, new music out as well. Welcome to the Rocker Morning Show, guitarist extraordinaire Doug Aldrich. Thank you for joining us this morning, man.
My pleasure, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to have me on. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, the record Light 'Em Up coming out next month. New single off the album, I'm Gonna Ride, is out now. It seems kind of convenient timing since I think Bike Week just happened in Sturgis, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct. It did.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, but that's a great. I can't believe we didn't think about that.
It was too big a coincidence. I was like, surely they thought about this.
No, I mean, we've been caught up doing promo and a bunch of stuff, and just forget about what date it is. And I knew Sturgis was on last week because a bunch of friends went up there.
Right.
And then I noticed that some friends' bands played up there as well. So I knew it was going on, but I just didn't. Duh.
That's funny.
Well, I know, you and John Corabi ride a little bit. Do the rest of the guys in the band have motorcycles? Do you guys go riding together at all?
No, I would say that. I mean, Michael Devin rides a little bit, but I would say that it's probably just me and John that do it on a regular basis. But it's so fun. It was during COVID. I was at home, stuck at home, doing nothing and kind of going stir crazy. And I started seeing pictures of some friends in L.A. Gilby Clark is one of my good buddies.
Yeah.
And those guys were out riding, and they'd send these pictures, overlooking the Pacific Ocean and all this stuff. So I called up Gilby, and he's like, yeah, man, come out with us. I asked my wife, she's like, go. And now all of a sudden, I ride with these guys every weekend. It's a blast.
That's awesome.
We talked to your bandmate John Corabi a couple of months ago about the making of this record, and he was telling us you got to do the full Mussel Shoals studio tour when recording Lighten 'Em Up. Is that correct?
Yes. We went down there to basically, for inspiration writing, just a change of scenery. And it's amazing how, listen, anytime you feel like you're in this rut or stuck on something, go to a different place and camp out for a minute. And all of a sudden, the inspiration of a different place. And that's what happened with us in Mussel Shoals. We just got super inspired and just started getting all this music together.
Did you kind of feel the spirit of those artists in that room when you were recording?
Absolutely, man. It was like, the room has not been changed or touched since the 50s and 60s when Aretha was in there. Mm. And all the stories of that stuff, it can't help but get into your, inspire you and get into your head.
You maybe channel a little Gary Rossington through the guitar when you're in the room there.
Hey, man, you know what? I used to love Skynyrd when I was growing up. Skynyrd was one of my great bands. I loved them.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah. Now, I am curious, because you did record in such a legendary place, when you listen back, did you hear any spirit voices of the ghosts of some of these legends, from these studios?
You know what? I didn't hear it, but I felt it.
There you go.
Weird, man. We were, and in fact, we would write during the day, and then at night we'd, open a little vino and just kind of chill and start talking about different people that had been there, and then we started to get inspired to go back out and jam. You got a couple glasses of wine in you, and you're talking about all this stuff, and it's like, let's go jam on that song. We're here. That's what musicians do. We play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I swear I could feel definitely my fingers doing things that they wouldn't have been doing otherwise.
That's cool. Yeah, John told us back in June, there was some stuff that came out of those sessions that are going to be surprises on the record, and then he said there might also be some surprises once the record comes out. Do you know what he's talking about? Maybe give us a little preview of that.
Yeah, there was. Well, so we went there to write a regular, a rock and roll Dead Daisies record,
mm-hmm.
and when we were there, we started to dabble in some blues stuff, and we recorded basically an entire blues record back in March down there, just because we got on a roll. It was so fun at night. After, like I said, talking about these artists and getting inspired and then going and playing. So there was one song that we wrote that's actually on the album. It's the last song on the album, and we wrote it down there. It's a totally different song for the Dead Daisies, and John did a fantastic. It's a deep subject. The song's called "Take My Soul," but that's just on the surface, but it's a very deep concept, and he did a great job on that and on the album. And then all this blues music we've got. We did this actually even before Slash. We knew about Slash doing a blues record. We had this thing in the can. So maybe we're going to do something with that in the future. We'll see.
That would be really cool. That'd be such a unique kind of like tour, even if you guys could, team up with them and do like a blues kind of tour. That would be wild.
Absolutely. It's really, man, we had so much fun down there. In the office, there was a handwritten letter from Dwayne Allman.
Wow.
To basically, it was like a memo letter that he wrote to himself basically on January 1st, 1969 or 1970, I forget which one. And he said, I promise to be a better human, to be better to mankind, to be more thoughtful to my friends. I want to, say this and blah, blah. It was chilling.
Oh, man. And talk about a good blues type album, too. That Fillmore East Allman Brothers album is amazing, man.
Oh, my God. So good. You just made me want to. I'm going to pop that record on when we get done, man.
Dude, so good. And I mean, outside of Dead Daisies, you've had a really awesome career. Obviously, Whitesnake, Dio. You toured with Glenn Hughes. But I want to ask about your audition with Kiss in 82. They were looking for someone to replace Ace. Ultimately, the job went to Vinnie Vincent. But I'm curious about your experience with them and during the audition and afterwards.
Well, it was interesting because I had no idea that they were looking for a guitar player, and all of a sudden, it's a long story, but Eric came down, Art, God bless him, he came down and he liked my guitar playing. He said, I want you to audition for the band, and it was just a, old school kind of thing. You just see somebody and it's like, let's jam. So I went down and I met Paul and Gene, and it was weird because it was like taboo to see those guys. Nobody had seen them without their makeup.
Right.
It was like taboo. I felt really guilty to look at Gene in the face. And I played a little bit on the Creatures of the Night record as a demo, kind of just, like what would you do on this? And so many good memories of that. But we jammed a couple times. I just think that, they said, hey, man, we really love your playing, but we need someone with a bit more experience. I didn't have any touring experience or anything like that. I was just a kid,
Yeah.
But they were kind. They were really cool to me. And then later, the Dead Daisies, when I joined the band in 2016, we made a record and then we toured and guess who we're supporting?
You
were
on with Kiss. I remember that. Yeah.
And it was great, man. Just like full circle, but those guys, they're so amazing. In fact, I had never seen them live until touring with them. And when I saw their show, then it all clicked. I was like, no wonder these guys are one of the greatest bands of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, pound for pound, there's nobody that would put on a better show for your dollar.
Yeah.
No way.
It's like, it's literally a production you would see at like Disney World or something. And these guys have been doing it since the 70s and 80s. It's unbelievable.
I know, but after seeing so many thousands of concerts in my life, I never saw anything like this where the guitar player is like, Paul Stanley's flying through the air doing these. When you watch Paul Stanley play guitar on stage, that's basically like 30 seconds. You can catch about 50 amazing guitar shapes.
Right.
It's incredible.
Oh, man. Well, the guys you've got in the band now are totally killer with David, of course. John, you, Michael, and Tommy. Light 'Em Up is out in September. I'm Gonna Ride is out now. Doug Aldrich of the Dead Daisies. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for your time today, bro.
Mark and Meatball, we love you guys. Thank you so much for what you do. And I'm going to tell Krabby I'm going to tell him that you said hey, and he would want me to tell you, say hi. He actually would want me to say, yeah, tell those guys to F off or whatever.
Will do.
We'll do that. All right. We'll see you, brother.
Hey, love you guys.